this whole ward's been on red alert all night long.
What happened? Did 117 go critical again?
No, an entire bottle of Darvocet 100s is unaccounted for. You know what that means?
Yep. Trouble in River City. There goes my career. Thanks, Nancy. You really made my day.
Williams, call your service. Dr. Williams, call your service.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Cummings.
Good morning.
Dr. Alex Reed, Dr.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave the room.
No, I can't. Oh, no, please, Alex.
All right, Liz, go with the nurse now.
We can call shallow respiration.
All right, you get him into ICU. You start an IV right now. Order a respirator, stomach pump.
Get me a respirator.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Please. Please. No, please.
I take it you're Ben Martin. I'm Charles Carpenter.
Well, how do you do, Mr. Carpenter? I assume you know,
Yes, Miss Davidson and I have already met.
Well, what do you think? We're doing our best to turn this place into a doctor's office.
I think you should know, Martin, that I'm the new owner of Hollister Square.
Yes, I've heard that.
And I also own your lease.
Well, rest assured, Mr. Carpenter, you're looking at a model tenant.
That really isn't any of my concern at all. I also hope you realize that the transfer clause in your commercial lease allows me to renegotiate our agreement if I choose to do so.
You know that's hardly ever done in an established area like this.
Nevertheless, that option is available to me, and I simply wanted you to know about it.
Now, look, Mr. Carpenter, I just moved in here. In good faith, I paid my lease 6 months in advance. All my savings went into this place, and you talk renegotiation?
Then I suggest you get a lawyer and find out just what your options are. Doctor? Miss Davidson?
Liz, is there anything else we can do for you right now? Liz?
Terry, I guess I keep phasing out on you. I'm sorry. I'll be fine. You and Scott must have thought I was crazy when I called you. I don't know what I said. Terry, today's your day off, and you've been a private duty nurse with me all day. Why don't you go on home? I could give you a call.
Oh, no, Liz, I want to stay here with you. And besides, you can't fire a private nurse that easily.
Ladies, your coffee. Brewed to your taste by a friendly machine. The only thing I can guarantee is that it's hot.
You too. You're both very special to me. I love you very much. I don't know how I'll ever repay everything.
Oh, come on, Liz. What you just said and how you feel, that's repayment enough.
Oh, Scott, it's Mitch.
Liz, I am so sorry to hear this.
Thank you.
Terry.
Dr. King to OR. Dr. King to OR.
Alex.
Jeff's out of danger now. He's stabilized.
Oh, thank God. We've got him back. Oh.
Wouldn't you classify this as a borderline miracle, Alex?
Miracle. I just pumped 10 pills out of a man's stomach and barely saved his life. The man's dying of cancer, and there's not a thing I can do about it. So what did I buy? A few weeks, maybe? No, I don't see much miracle in that.
Now, you've got it backwards. See, Jeff's alive now. And with God's help, You help give that life back to him. You're in the life-giving business, Alex.
But the man has terminal cancer, Scott. I mean, all we did was postpone the inevitable.
I'm telling you, it was a miracle. Look, if my heart gave out of me tomorrow, you could perform a bypass operation that could postpone the inevitable.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing, Scott. There's no hope for Jeff.
I don't believe you really mean that.
Well, maybe not. But I'm not the kind of man that looks for miracles.
You just played a big part in one. Look, for a while there, you went down the same track that Jeff did. God is our only source of hope, without limitations. Says so in his word.
Well, does he say anything about terminal cancer?
Doctors hadn't discovered it yet. But it does say, acknowledge the Lord and do good, and it will bring healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones.
Yeah, he's talking about medicine there, Scott.
Strong medicine.
Well, I tell you what, old man. Now that we've brought Jeff back into the world of the living through the miracle of medicine, I'm surprised you're not in there trying to introduce him to the chief surgeon.
Need some help?
Yes, I'm Ben Martin. I recently leased an office in Hollister Square.
Please have a seat.
Thank you.
I was just reviewing the file. That's a doctor's building, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. I just want to double-check zoning restrictions on the property.
So let's see. It says here C1. That's light commercial.
Good. Anything else I should know?
Well, let's see. Oh, this file hasn't. It's still open.
What does that mean?
It means that the owner of the property has filed this request for a zoning change to C major.
C major. Well, how would that affect my lease?
Dr. Martin, if Hollister Square goes to C major, that means heavy commercial and retail. The owner, Mr. Carpenter, it seems, has plans for a new shopping mall.
He wouldn't. Can he legally do that?
Legally, he can. But it is still up to the Planning and Development Commission to vote on it. This kind of thing is happening more and more these days. Hollister Square is located in a slow economic area. A new mall would be a real shot in the arm for it.
Yeah, but where does that leave me? And the other small businesses in the area? Everything I own is tied up in that lease. My practice is just starting. Carpenter's going to wipe me out.
Now, don't throw the towel in yet, Dr. Martin. There will still be a public hearing before the commission votes on the final action. You'll have your day in court.
Well, thank you
You're
for the
welcome.
information. You can be sure I'll be back.
Yes, Dave, I'm in a position now to promise those guarantees. That property that's out at the intersection of the Hollister Expressway and Route 9 is absolutely ideal. You notice the traffic flow? You know, conservatively speaking, I think I could promise a 20% return short term, that is, of, say, $20,000 to $30,000. And I want to start construction in 3 months. That's just plain good business. Dave, thanks very much for the round of golf offer. I appreciate it very much, and I'll look forward to seeing you very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Well, I've been away from that for a while. Be kind of nice to get back in it again.
Just what kind of game were you talking about, Charles?
Well, now,
You're up to something, and I don't like it.
what makes you think that?
The Office of Planning and Development called. Something about a zoning change. They want to talk to you about it.
Oh, there's nothing to worry. That's just a lot of technical red tape.
Oh, stop it, Charles. I'm warning you.
Now, Helen, please. Now, you must know how grateful I am for all the things you've done. But it's different now. I learned a very hard, a very difficult lesson. And there isn't anything I would want to do to cause you to lose your trust in me.
I want to believe that, Charles.
You can.
But just one more word about the Hollister Square property, and then I'll drop the subject. Charles, you must live up to that agreement that we made at the outset. The property is yours to manage, not to sell. Some of those tenants I've known for a long time.
I can assure you the tenants are foremost in my mind. I plan to make some improvements, so there's nothing to worry about. Nothing at all.
But the price is right. Listen, think it over, Janice, and be sure to let me know by next Monday, okay?
Okay, Lori, I will.
Hi, Daddy. Janice, this is my father.
Oh.
I forgot to tell you, he has to approve all my roommates.
Well, Janice, are you a heavy sleeper?
I certainly am.
Because any roommate of Lori's would have to be a heavy sleeper. She snores like an erupting volcano.
Stop. I'll call you Lori.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, you told me to stop by if I were in the neighborhood. I hope I didn't discourage a prospective roommate.
No, I think Janice passed your sick humor test very well. Daddy, I did call you for a reason.
Oh, what is it?
It's Ben. I'm really worried about him. You know, it's bad enough that he's got all his money put into his new practice, but he's also got Charles Carpenter as a landlord. Carpenter has seen Ben and me together, and I've never seen someone filled with such hate.
Well, I know about Carpenter. He's like a wounded animal, unpredictable and dangerous. Has Ben talked to Mitch yet about it?
He said he was going to, but something has to be done soon, Daddy. The law takes so long, and Ben can't afford to risk everything now.
Yeah, but still...
Oh, Daddy, guess what? I talked to Mom today, and she told me about Gene Redland's new job with the county. He's working on Carpenter's zoning request.
Oh, seems like you girls have done a little detective work.
Daddy, you could talk to Gene, couldn't you? Tell him to do something to stop him.
Lori, I know how you feel, but I can't do what you're asking.
But why? It'd be easy enough. Just talk to Gene.
You've got to understand. Now, Gene is a public servant, and it'd be wrong for me to try to influence his decision, not to mention the fact that I'd be taking advantage of his friendship.
But Carpenter is a ruthless man. Is it so wrong to want to do something to stop him?
If we play by Carpenter's rules and fight him his way, we're really admitting defeat.
I don't understand.
Lori, two wrongs don't make a right. Now, we believe in a just God. He's not going to look the other way in our case. God is with us, Lori. He knew about this problem before we did. Just don't try to repay evil or look for revenge. Just wait. He'll help you.
That's from Proverbs.
It's one of my favorite books.
Well, here we are. Hollister Square, all inspected and accounted for, right down to the last light switch and window pane.
Redland, I think you broke a record.
Is that bad or good?
The first inspection you did took longer than it took to build the project. This one only took you half as long.
Guess I catch on pretty fast. I'll tell you a little secret. I worked through my lunch hour. Come here, I want to show you something. Let you in on the inside story of Hollister Square. Here we are. Everything you wanted to know about a bunch of little small businesses.
The newest building in it is 10 years old.
That's right. This here is Shearer's Grocery. Quaint little place. Mr. Shearer himself gave me an apple, which, incidentally, was my lunch. You don't suppose he was trying to bribe me or anything, do you?
And what about these units?
Oh, that's low-rent apartments, everyone occupied, and this is, you know, generally clean and structurally sound, but run down in a couple of little areas there. Oh, and this service station here is the last of a dying breed here. They cleaned my window, checked my tires, and tried to change my oil before I could get away.
And this here, the Hollister Square Professional Building, how's it looking?
Oh, like any other prefab office building built in the mid-'60s here. It was almost destroyed by fire in 1969. The lawyer left his cigar burning when he left, and the same lawyer still there said, you know, gave up smoking. Oh, and these other law offices here, a dentist's office, and last but not least, Dr. Benjamin Martin.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
I bet he's wishing he took up law instead.
Well, I can tell you one thing. If he works as hard on his patients as he did in getting this office in shape, he'll sure make Johns Hopkins.
Redlin, I don't want you getting hung up on this project. Understand?
Okay, no hang-ups, Chief. I promise. So what's next on the agenda?
I want you to file an environmental impact report on Hollister Square. Judging by what you just said, this project peaked out long ago and it's on its way downhill.
It's holding on its own.
By the way, Mr. Carpenter called this morning. He's going to file his construction plan within the next 10 days. That report, Redlin, keep it unbiased.
Come in, come in.
Hi. I thought you could use some light refreshment and maybe some light conversation.
Your timing is perfect. I'll tell you, you're a regular Florence Nightingale with potato chips.
Wait, I've got more provisions in here for my doctor toiling in the field of combat.
Okay, listen, how about a ride?
Okay.
Hop on. Oh, I tell you, this doctor's been performing major surgery on a dying bank account, but I can't seem to stop the bleeding.
Well, the surgery is just going to have to wait because we're going to have a picnic right in the middle of the operating table.
Great. Laurie Davidson, you're incredible.
Why? It's just some cold drinks and sandwiches.
God sent me an angel in my hour of need.
What in the world are you talking about?
Well, you see this stack of papers? That's my creditors catching up with me. Car, med school, furniture, the lease, plus bills I never even planned for. And then there was Carpenter haunting me. It was like a living nightmare being acted out right before my eyes. The balance on my calculator kept getting lower and lower till there was nothing left.
And then what happened?
And then you came in and woke me up.
And they all lived happily ever after.
Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, God doesn't write fairy tales.
Or nightmares either.
But he does send angels bearing messages of hope and encouragement.
After the car accident, I thought of you as my angel of mercy. You woke me up from my nightmare and brought me hope and encouragement. Seems so long ago. When I was a kid, Dr. Greeley always promised that if I were a good girl, he'd show me his instruments.
I see. Well, you've met your end of the bargain.
No, I was just kidding.
No, let me show you. See? This here's Mr. Bright Eyes. No, say hello to Laurie, Mr. Bright Eyes. Hello.
What's he for?
Patients who are very young or very old. Mr. Bright Eyes is good at getting my patients to let me use Mr. Stick. Come on, open your mouth.
Well, what happens if Mr. Bright Eyes can't get your patient to let you use Mr. Stick?
Well, then I resort to Mr. Fist. There now, you've seen my menagerie. And here you are, as good as new, with a much healthier sense of humor, I might add.
Oh, eat your sandwich.
Laurie, I've decided.
Decided what, Ben?
I've decided that I'm going to fight Carpenter's zoning change. It'll be a long shot, but I'm going to fight it.
May I accompany you in this battle?
Sure, this war's big enough for everyone. Besides, I could use an angel on my shoulder.
We've been talking so much, we haven't even touched our food. Why don't you offer a blessing?
Okay. Lord, thank you for this food. And Laurie, thank you for reminding us that you're never far away. You know our needs, God. Give us the strength and the wisdom to meet the obstacles ahead of us. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Shall we?
Ms. Mason, the first thing I do when I interview someone is a little unorthodox, but it can help. I visualize them in a specific job. No doubt about it. I see you as an executive secretary. You certainly have that demeanor.
Please, can we just get on with the interview?
Of course, Ms. Mason. Now, we'll need to get your employment history and list your qualifications. Who was your last employer, please?
Well, I never had to work before.
You never had to work before?
Never.
I see. Well, that's not necessarily a problem for you. Now, let's discuss your office skills. Do you take shorthand?
No, I don't.
Dictation?
No.
Well, let's move to office machines, shall we? Have you skills on the calculator, photocopy machine, word processor, or PBX?
No, none of those.
Ms. Mason, can you type?
With these two fingers.
You attended business school, did you not?
I majored in fine arts.
Ms. Mason, we're primarily oriented to secretarial and technical positions. May I suggest something in sales, perhaps a clerk? How about, Shirley, a restaurant hostess?
Stuff it, Buster.